Hey everybody, it's Debra Kasowski, and in this video, you're going to learn why it's important to discover your strengths and why does it matter? How can you strategically and tactically really move yourself ahead when you know your strengths? And what does it take to discover your strengths? I'm going to share this all in today's video. Stay tuned. And talking about discovering your strengths, why should you discover your strengths? Now, a lot of people will have this debate with you that maybe you should be focused on your weaknesses. If we work on our weaknesses, we'll get stronger, we'll get better, and think that we're improving. Now, if your weakness is a 2 out of 10, and you work on it, and you maybe get yourself to a 3 to 4 out of 10, do you really think that you're going to have that much more significant impact? Chances are not. Now, if you are a 7 or 8 on a strength and you boost it to a 9, 9.5, on the border of that 10, then you're gaining traction. What kind of results do you think will get you over that tipping point? Now, when you discover that and you work on those strengths and you're able to propel yourself with greater traction, you end up showing up more confident, more competent, you show up on purpose, and you're also focused on living with intention. Now, people say, well, Deb, you know what? I really don't know what my strengths are. I think I know, but I'm not truly sure. And maybe I should ask around. I'm not, people kind of get into this place of that they haven't taken time to reflect is really what it's about. They haven't taken time to say, what do I bring to the table? So when you ask yourself that question, what are the things that come to mind? Where do you spend most of your time? Just thinking about where are you spending most of your time? What do people comment to you about what you do, what you're good at? Now, when you see where you spend the most of the time, people often gravitate to things that they enjoy. So that's where you're going to see them spend the most of their time. Now, people also will choose to do things based on their enjoyment and what they're good at. So let's say, cleaning the house, as I'm simplifying this as much as possible, like cleaning the house versus cooking a meal. Now, some of you might like, you know what? I like putting on those rubber gloves and scrubbing. And others of you are like, I'd rather look up on Pinterest and find a couple recipes that I'm going to try that week, entertain my family, date night or whatnot, and you're going to do up a recipe. Now, thinking about what is your strength is one that you're going to choose one or the other. Now, if you don't like either of them, you might be one of those people who just hires that out or buys those, microwave dinners, which, please, be careful on your salt intake. Just throwing that out at you. But thinking about where do you spend your most time? This is, again, the most simplified example. Where are you finding the most enjoyment? Where do you feel like it's not work, that you're kind of having a playtime? Now, also think about what do people say you're good at? What do they comment is your strength? Are you a good listener? Are you a good communicator, that you have great, written skills? Or you create great content or video, whatever that is, this is where you want to spend more time playing. Or what is the subject matter that you tend to be recognized for or get the most comments on? When you are leading a team or working one-on-one with individuals, they'll often tell you what it is that you are good at. Now, the other thing is ask. Learn what people think about your strengths. Learn what they would say to others if they were to describe you to someone else. This is where you're going to start understanding what they see as your strengths. Better yet, you can pop an email out to 20 people and send it to them individually to get, individual replies of what do you believe my strengths are? Would you describe me to another person? So really tapping into those adjectives, those power words of how people would describe you. Now, sometimes perceptions might be different, and this is where you need to investigate your own thinking about who you are and how you show up. Now, if there's something that's totally off for you, you're like, really? That's a strength? You might open that conversation, learn more about why they see it as a strength and how you might be able to start leveraging it, because you might not even know that it is one of your strengths. The other thing is, pay attention to what you like to talk about. You might have a tendency of talking about different subject matters. And, you know, for me, recently I was at a football banquet with my family, and I was sitting at the table. The whole table was into conversation about brisket, smoking on the barbecue, going on fishing trips, you know, legacy with grandchildren, talking about kimchi and the best restaurants in Edmonton. And it was just a stimulating conversation of different ideas and different topics. And those things just get me jazzed up. I love to just get into a conversation about what matters to people. And as you learn that, you discover what's important to people and what they're good at. So that's strengths, that's secret sauce. Now, why does knowing your strengths matter? Now, knowing your strengths matters is because then you know where to put your focus, time, and attention. So if I know what my strengths are, I can say no to things that are my weaknesses and delegate them to people who that is their strength. Let them shine in who they are and where they are so that they can hone their own strengths, and I can put more energy in my strengths and yours, right? You can focus on your growth of your strengths. Now, you might learn by video, reading a book, taking a course to develop the strengths and cultivate those strengths so you can leverage them. The other thing is, when you really know what your strengths are, you're going to stop doing what you don't like. You're just going to put it aside. You're not going to need excuses because you don't want to. You'll just be straight up and honest and say, no, I just don't like doing that. And it's not something I'm good at. So then you don't put yourself into that fixed mindset. The other thing is, you want to be able to push out of your comfort zone. Like, even though you have a strength, it doesn't mean it's stagnant. It doesn't mean that this is a one and done deal. You're going to continue to grow that strength and push the limits of that comfort zone. You are going to set yourself up for some great success. Now, often people get confused that they see their strengths and talents as the same thing, and that's not the same. So talents only take you so far. It's kind of when you think about the tortoise and the hare, right? Some people who are talented, they just stop where they're at. They think that they're so far ahead that they don't have to put in the effort. Whereas for individuals who maybe they're not so talented, but they put in a lot of effort, hard work ethic to really get things done. Now, that's where strength comes in. This is where effort will trump talent any day. That strength and determination, focus, gets them through. So strengths and talents are not the same. Now, how do you even discover some of your strengths? And, you know, we talked about ways that you could and why you do, but also you can ask yourself, what is motivating me? What's my driver? What's my why? What are some of my work habits that I put in place? And then you can start identifying those strengths. And as you discover those strengths, you learn what you're made of. You learn more about how you can step into your potential, because you'll learn what other people see. Is it aligned with how you see yourself? Now, sometimes you're out of alignment because maybe you don't see yourself as being strong in those areas, and the rest of the world is telling you that you are, and it's time for you to identify and acknowledge that that could be the truth. But because you do it so naturally, you might not even see that it is one of your strengths. So today, I'd love for you to grab out a piece of paper, grab your notes in your phone, and type in just, what do you believe some of your strengths are? Reach out to at least 5 people that you are going to learn what your strengths are. And better yet, the better the circle of 20. And you're going to want to surround yourself with these people to challenge you, support you in growing in your strengths so you can show up as the best version of yourself. Now, I want to thank you for coming on today's podcast, and know that we are always stepping into a new level. Each level of growth, you face new challenges, new obstacles, new roadblocks where you have to grow and expand beyond that comfort zone so you can step into who you are meant to be. Now, I'd love for you to go over to my website at www, where you're going to get your 3-part video course of making habits stick right now. And as you get that video, it's really going to help you add some focus and consistency into your life, your business, or your organization, where you're going to learn what some of those derailers are that are taking you off track and really setting yourself up for some success. Now, watching this on YouTube, please hit the bell, subscribe, make a comment so you don't miss a single episode. As Muhammad Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I wish for you, as always, is go out and make today great.